Well, despite the unfortunate news that we learned earlier this morning that 3 new players from the Bulls had entered the health and safety protocol, being Alfonzo McKinney, who the Bulls just signed for the remainder of the season, Tony Bradley, and Lonzo Ball, basically the last players on the entire roster who haven't entered the protocol at some point this season. And even with the Bulls head coach Billy Donovan out due to the health and safety protocol, all of that did not deter the Bulls in coming out and securing their 3rd straight win, their 20th of the season, and they improve to 20-10 on the year. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So Casey Johnson had put out a tweet earlier today stating that if the Bulls were to win tonight, it would be their first time going 10 games above 500 since they went 22-12 since January of 2016, which was Fred Hoiberg's first season as head coach with the Bulls, and the Bulls also their last season with Derrick Rose before he was traded to the Knicks, which I honestly was shocked that the team actually had a record of 22-12 at some point in that season, given they ultimately finished the year at 500 and missed the playoffs. But in any event, the Bulls go 10 games above 500 for the first time in over 5 years, almost 6 years really, and you love to see it, especially when the Bulls got completely dismantled the last time they played the Pacers at home. And the Bulls were able to win this one despite being shorthanded, particularly without their 2 best defenders in Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso. They're also still without Derrick Jones Jr. as well, who has been a huge piece for them off the bench. Yes, it helped that the Pacers were without Malcolm Brogdon, especially when the Bulls don't have their perimeter defenders, but hey, I'll take it. The game was pretty sloppy at times, especially in the 3rd quarter. The Bulls faltered quite a bit coming out of the locker room, turning the ball over a lot, and despite having a strong start to the 4th quarter where you thought the Bulls might run away with this one, they let the Pacers go on a little run to bring it within single digits towards the end of the game, to the point where you weren't quite sure if the Bulls were fully engaged and we're actually going to have the ability to close this one out. But with the incredible performance down the stretch from Zach Lavine hitting some really big shots in the final 3 minutes, Lavine had 12 points in the 4th quarter alone. Usually we see DeRozan taking over as the king of the 4th quarter, which he showed up well in the 4th quarter, don't get me wrong. But tonight down the stretch, it was all Zach, who finished the game with 32 points on a ridiculous 12 for 18 shooting, 5 for 9 from 3, 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Not bad after having been out for the last week and a half or so due to the protocol. He did have 4 turnovers though, and some of those were just lazy passes, but again, this game all around was pretty sloppy at times. The Bulls had 15 turnovers in total. And how about Nikola Vucevic tonight? This is his 3rd game in a row since the first COVID postponement the Bulls had, in which he has played very well, not only with his improved shooting. Tonight, he was 7 for 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, putting up 16 points, but against one of the best rim protectors in the game in Miles Turner, and Sabonis, one of the best rebounders in the game. Vucevic was still able to crash the boards tonight, getting 15 rebounds, but he was also getting it done defensively in limiting Sabonis from scoring in the paint. Sabonis was 5 for 17 tonight from the floor, scoring only 14 points. Vucevic, in addition to that 16 and 15, also had 2 blocks and 2 steals. Both Vucevic and Lavine were plus 10 tonight. Surprisingly, DeRozan wasn't as impactful on the court as he normally has been. He finished the game minus 13 in box plus minus, but obviously he was still able to get the job done on the scoring front, putting up 24 points on 9 for 20 shooting, and he kicked off that 4th quarter to a strong jump start for the Bulls and that energy after a fairly lackluster 3rd quarter. Now, I usually don't call out Javonte Green all that much, which probably isn't fair because he's been such a solid player this season with his hustle and energy. Yes, he makes some bad decisions on the court from time to time that kind of make you want to pull your hair out, but stepping up in that power forward spot tonight, putting up 13 points on a perfect 4 for 4 shooting and the effort in fighting for loose balls, he played some very key minutes tonight for the Bulls while they were shorthanded. Now, I was a little surprised to see Coby White getting the start tonight over Ayo, because personally, yes, Coby is a better scorer. He has more experience, but overall, Ayo is a more polished passer, facilitator, and defender. I really thought they were going to give Ayo the nod to start at point tonight. And when you saw Ayo play, the cool, calm, and collected demeanor in which he plays and those floaters that he has really started to perfect from just inside the foul line have been a thing of beauty to watch. I'll be curious to see if Chris Fleming continues starting Coby over Ayo in these upcoming games. while Lonzo and Caruso remain out. Coby was impactful on the court, don't get me wrong, and he actually played solid defense tonight, but 3 for 10 shooting from the floor, 0 for 4 from 3, only 1 assist as your point guard. He finished the game with 8 points. Just not a starter level type performance, and you saw the team up their game when Io was in. I know I can be a little biased though, because I've been so impressed with Io so far this season, and I want to see him get more run for his overall development, but that's just my perspective on the matter. The bench tonight was decent, nothing too crazy. Matt Thomas actually had a good 19 minutes, this coming after I thought he would be the guy to get waived over Alize Johnson in order to bring in Alfonso McKinney, just because the Bulls have so many backcourt players. But in any event, Alize Johnson is the guy that got waived. I talked about that earlier this morning. Troy Brown Jr. was decent. Tyler Cook, the Bulls' two-way player, looked nice in limited minutes. He was on the court. We didn't get to see the Bulls' 2 most recent hardship exception signings in Ilyasova and McClung get some time on the court, which is somewhat to be expected with a good amount of guys returning back from protocol. You may not even see them get any minutes in a Bulls uniform before their 10-day contracts expire. Overall, though, the Bulls shot very well in this game, shooting 56% from the field, 48% from 3. The passing and the ball movement wasn't really there tonight, and you saw that when you're looking at the stat sheet with only 17 assists, but that's, again, kind of to be expected when you don't have Lonzo and Caruso, and the defense was also pretty subpar tonight, again, to be expected without both of those guys. That's really what enabled the Pacers to hang around in this game, because you look at the box score, the Bulls' offensive numbers were great, and of course, the 15 turnovers. Hopefully, we don't see too much more of that, especially when the Bulls' last 2 games, they did such a good job at taking care of the ball. I will be curious to see if the Bulls game scheduled for tomorrow in Atlanta is in fact going to happen. I believe the Hawks, with the recent news of John Collins also entering the protocol, is making it 11 players in total on their team that have fallen into the health and safety protocol. So I wouldn't be shocked if the game was in fact postponed, and the Bulls are actually playing in back-to-back games against the Hawks tomorrow in Atlanta and then back in Chicago on Wednesday. Thanks NBA for the wax scheduling. But in any event, I'll of course have a live game chat if it does in fact occur for tomorrow night's game. Let me know what you guys thought about tonight's game in the comments. In the meantime, of course, as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.